And here we are. So you had a holiday weekend, which always makes things a little more interesting when you're trying to introduce new habits to your life. Sometimes that doesn't go like you would hoped it would go. Sometimes it goes better. But so what we're going to just start off with is you watched videos about the Judge Saboteur. So we're going to dig into the Judge Saboteur. But before we go there, let's talk about your first week of practice and having the daily workouts and how it went. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some blameless discernment. The difference between judgment and blameless discernment. Blameless discernment is just saying like, what happened? And why did whatever happen, sort of like fact finding, and then but making no value judgments based on what you find. It's just what happened, it is what it is kind of thing. Judgment, when the judge kicks in, it's like, here's what is, and now that's bad, or you're bad, or all that stuff. So we don't want to blame or judge. Let's just say, how did it go? And just for me to disclose, like over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, I don't think I did any day of workouts. So I had workouts on all those days where I'm at in my practice. And I don't think I did a single day where I did them all within the right time frame. So it's okay. I'm still alive and I'm doing well. So what about you? How did that first week go? What worked and what could improve?
For me, I totally did not do it in the time increments. But the video said it's okay.
Yes.
I'm still going, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Going through the judge video and listening to that, I found how much of a judger I am, and that is terrifying.
Mm.
I can reflect back quite a bit, in the past, of how I've been so judgy, which is hard to admit. But I definitely was able this week to, when I started getting that Judge or Saboteur in, I was able to sit there and be like, no, we don't need to do this. It is kind of what it is.
Yeah. So for you, it's like knowing, oh, this is going on. And I don't like that it's going on.
Right.
That's like the first step of being able to bring change. Right. If you don't know something's wrong, if you don't know what you don't know, you can't really do much about it. Exactly. So that's a huge insight. I'm glad to hear it. Anything else you want to say about the daily workouts you had last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
I know what kind of works and what doesn't. Having my eyes open and focusing on something doesn't really do what I need it to do.
Yeah.
I do like the tense. They're not really the coaching videos, but the PQ reps of like tense and clenching. Sometimes that gets me to focus on what I need to during those. So that's pretty pleasant.
Good. Glad to hear that. James, how about you? In your practice from week one, what worked? What could improve?
Yeah. Well, hey, first of all, just want to let you know, we can see the presenter notes and the audio transcription.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. And there was a little pop-up that came and it said, give something a try. And I just clicked it It's actually
like story of my life, Glenn. Yeah.
It's actually recording voice and turn it into print.
I know.
And I have no clue how to shut it off. But what's really cool is it's capturing everything we're saying. I don't have to take any notes. But it's very distracting.
Does it capture my laugh just then? Let's see. No. Ha!
It doesn't.
Okay. Sorry. Well, recording replay, friends. Hope you enjoyed that. Okay. Yeah, for this past week, I mean, I had days that I did it, followed all the things and
yes,
did it on time, and that went well. And I also had days where it was like 8 p.m. and I was like, oh shit. I guess I'll go for a 15-minute walk and do this moving one.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I also had a day where in week 1, week 2 has been a little different, but in week 1 where I got up to, I don't know, 26 or whatever reps, and I was just tired. It was the end of the day, and my what's the perfectionist saboteur? Stickler?
Yes.
Yeah. So my stickler was like, just stay up and finish. Do it. Get it done. Just do it. Just get it done. And eventually I was just like, no. And I went to bed not having finished all of the things. But it was a very real moment of, encountering that saboteur, even just to finish that. So
yeah.
Also, it was all over the map.
Yeah. I love that. You set limits on your stickler. You said, like, here's my boundary. I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep. Yeah. I'm not going to go kick my adrenaline in just to get a task so I can check it off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really good, again, awareness piece. I love your ability to set the boundary.
Yeah.
Like that. Well, I want you to hear, and for Amy and Randy, here's frequently asked questions about this stage in the Mental Fitness Accelerator. One is, my mind wanders during PQ reps, and our Judge Saboteur is going to say, see, you're a failure. You can't do it, and we start asking the question, am I a failure? Am I just a loser? Am I, and of course you're not. You're like a kid who's learning how to ride the bike. You've never done this before. You're not going to be perfect. It's okay. Again, tell your stickler to take a hike and your judge to go stuff a sock in it, and just keep trying. Another question people will ask is, I don't feel a difference when I do PQ reps. Is this actually working? Like, I didn't notice any change. And it's a cumulative, it's sort of like going to the gym and working out for 2 days and then looking in the mirror to see if your muscles are bigger. It's like, I can't really tell if they're any bigger or not. That's right, they're not. It's been 2 days. So same principle here. It takes time. It's okay. Be patient with yourself, and it is working. There's solid scientific research behind this. It's working. You just don't feel it yet. And you may not feel it for a while. It usually takes 6 to 8 weeks of this intensive practice before you really go, wow, there's something, it's different here. Although what I love is both you, Ashley, and James have said you've noticed a couple abilities to recognize saboteur interference in your life. And that means your saboteur interceptor is at least just that much stronger. So that's cool. Is there really a difference between PQ reps, meditation, and just relaxing, or what is the difference? There's some people who really enjoy meditation, and it's like, hey, this reminds me a lot of what we're doing here in the PQ reps, at least some of the PQ reps. And meditation is a form of a PQ rep. And so that's there. Just relaxing can be helpful. And you may be using PQ reps when you're relaxing. You may not. Relaxing is just good after a busy day. But the PQ reps, what we want everybody to understand is these PQ reps, meditation, usually like people will meditate in the morning or at night, or they take a half-hour break and they feel great while they're doing that and afterwards. But then the day hits and the stuff hits the fan and it's like, okay, it's all gone. And what's beautiful about PQ reps is you'll learn how you can pull them out in the middle of a crappy meeting and use them to help you get through a real stressful situation. Not like you can't just go like, hey, everybody, let's get in a sit down and do some meditation. That's not going to happen in a meeting. But you can rub your fingertips together under the table, or you can try to see if you can locate all of your toes, or you can even just breathe for a little bit and notice your breath and let the air go out of the room a little bit. Another question people ask is, these 3 coach challenges, they disrupt my busy day. Are they really necessary? Like, come on, I'm busy and this just interrupts everything. And that's your judge again talking, saying this situation, this circumstance is stupid and dumb and it doesn't help. And they're not necessary. Like, you've lived this far without doing PQ reps on a regular basis during the day. Are they necessary? No. But one of the things James knows and me from our Business Made Simple work, there's something called Hero on a Mission, and we create like life plans, and then there's a daily planner. And in the daily planner, there's a little picture of a brain that's full at the top of the day, the beginning of the day. And as you go down, the brain gets less, the energy in the brain is less. So it depletes throughout the day. That's reality. That's science again. When we do PQ reps, we slow down the depletion of our brain power. And so is it necessary? No. Is it helpful? You bet it is. So if you want to perform better and have more wellness and peace of mind while you're working and get along with people better, do the PQ challenges. It'll help. If you don't want to feel better, get more done and get along with people better, then just keep doing what you've always been doing. That's a little tongue-in-cheek there, being sarcastic. All right. And then some people say, I have too much on my plate now. You know what? I picked the wrong time to do this. I can't believe, I got into this now and I feel overwhelmed. Again, we're going to be talking about the judge. That is the Judge Saboteur talking. And he's judging the circumstance. Remember, a judge judges self, others, and then circumstances. And judging circumstances might be the most insidious. Well, I don't know. Judging ourselves as mercilessly as the judge wants us to is pretty crappy. I mean, maybe that's the worst. I don't know. It's a tie. It's a tie for me. But this is a Judge Saboteur saying, you can't do this now. You're too busy. And understand, you've, in a sense, going into this, now that there's this awareness of the judge, and then you'll get more aware of the accomplice saboteurs next week. In a sense, you've declared war on their stronghold in your thinking patterns. Well, do you think they want to give up control easily? No, of course not. So they are actually going to kick into, expect them to be worse than before in this next couple of weeks. Expect them to be, as you try to kick them out and evict them, they're living in your brain rent free, and you're wanting to evict them. expect them to be terrible tenants and doing everything they possibly can to stay. And they're doubling down their saboteur lies and saboteur fear. So anyway, just those are important things to know. All right. The dreaded judge, the saboteur, overall saboteurs, the accomplice saboteurs, they tag team with the judge. The judge is the main show. Everybody has a judge saboteur. And like we said, he judges in 3 different modalities. But saboteurs, in understanding how they're born, where do they come from? There's lots that goes into it, but in our childhood, they begin taking form as we're just doing what we have to do as little kids to figure out how to survive and succeed. And as we try to figure out, how do I survive and how do I succeed? However, I define success as a 3-year-old kid, 5-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid. Saboteurs kick in there, and saboteurs are strengths that are overused or abused. So we have natural strengths as little kids, and obviously we're going to lean into those strengths to try to survive and succeed. And when we either abuse them or overuse them, that's when they turn into saboteurs for us. So just a little understanding of, where they came from and how that's working. And saboteurs are these automatic mental habits for feeling, thinking, and acting, neural pathways. And there's lots of them. There's 10 of them. The judge being the master saboteur. And you're going to learn a lot more about the other 9 next week. They're very useful in childhood, again, like we just talked about. And they are the cause of, this is Shirzad's statement, it's a bold one, of all our negative emotions. So things like fear, stress, anger, shame, unhappiness, and the list could fill up a day's worth of feelings. These are all caused by our saboteurs, and they severely limit both success and happiness in our lives. So here's the 3 modes of the judge. We judge ourselves, we judge others, and then we judge events or circumstances. And as you learned a lot more about the judge over the weekend, the judge saboteur, of these 3 modes, which one do you have the greatest sense of new awareness of this, this Wednesday, having learned a lot more about your judge saboteur than most people on the planet know? What are you personally like? Of the 3, is there one of those areas you feel a heightened sense of awareness?
I guess for me, the events and circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple instances Friday and then Monday where I had an employee that had to leave early when I was already leaving early because of issues with picking her child up from the baby daddy and all this. And it's like, oh my God, like, and it was just that quick snap of judgment.
Yep.
Like but it's kind of out of her control. So I probably noticed that more so. I mean, I know I'm a good judge of self and others. I mean, terrible to say, but I think the events and circumstances, I have to kind of take a step back and understand that it's not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. And if it is their fault, is it healthiest to get really angry at them and mad at them, or is there other ways to approach the issue in a way that can bring self-development to yourself or to them. Yeah. So good.
Big time.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah.
James, does one stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big one still for me is the judge of self for sure.
Yeah.
But I think also, you know, even though that's the big one, just a little extra awareness around events and circumstances was really helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see the judge, you know, playing out. I don't know. It's kind of a hybrid of self and events, circumstances that directly affect myself.
Yes.
I don't know. That's where I see it. And I think I experience it most intensely. So just to be able to pinpoint that and have a little more awareness around that, I think will be very valuable.
Yeah. One of the things that has really stood out to me about the judgment of events or circumstances is you recognize the judge's voice when you hear and you're thinking, well, I'll be happy when, and then there's a blank that has to be filled in. Yeah. And the reality is when whatever you fill in the blank, either you'll get that and realize, well, I'm still not happy, or you won't get that and you'll be chasing it forever. And so the judge is basically telling you can't be happy right now. And that's the insidiousness of the judgment lie of events and circumstances. And so I want you to help you unmask that, because that's really a painful thing. There it is. You can't be happy with your current circumstances, or you'll be happy when. That's that final one there. And it's actually not true. Neither one of those is true. And all I have to do is think about trips I've taken to parts of the world where little kids are living in abject poverty and probably don't have a dad in their home and may get one meal that day, and they are happier than I am, running around with their friends. So like, yeah, that's what I think of when I think like the lie that's here. And as Americans, we can end up chasing a lot of lies, it seems like. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. The self-justification lies. Here, this is probably the most common pushback to mental fitness, because in mental fitness we say anger, shame, guilt, and blame are negative. They're saboteur generated, and you should not allow them to drive your life. And you'll find very successful, ambitious people who say, what the hell? That's what's got me to where I am today. If it weren't for all that, I wouldn't be where I am, because that's what's driven me. And so that it's true. It has gotten them to this point. But if you were to interview those folks and get to this, are you happy? Shirzad's coached several billionaire CEOs, and almost to a person, they aren't happy. And they're the ones who push back the most on this, question right here. And your judge will tell you, hey, I'm good for you. I'm your buddy. I'm the one who helps you succeed. I make you feel guilty, ashamed, angry, and blaming of others. And so you feel superior all the time. And that's how you got where you are. Aren't I a great buddy? And I think when we put it that way, we see it's like, okay, you may have got me here, but you're bad fuel, not good fuel. There is good fuel for the human motivator. And there's a better place. We'll be learning more about the sage as we go along. Stress gives you your performance edge on that same idea. And so I need to be stressed out. You can burn adrenaline for so long and live on cortisol for so long, and then you fry. Been there, done that. Negative emotions are helpful to you. Are negative emotions helpful? The answer here is, this is like a trick question. I'm baiting you. The answer is, hello. I don't understand what's going on here. There we go. Is pain helpful to you? This image maybe is the best way to answer that. Is pain helpful? It depends on how long it lasts, right? That guy with his hand on the burner, if that's been on there a millisecond and he's about to remove his hand, that pain is very helpful. It is protecting him from serious damage to his hand. If he leaves his hand on there and scorches the inside of his hand, that pain is not helpful. And so negative emotions are helpful if they serve as a warning sign, as a signal that we're in danger. But they're only meant to serve us for a second or two, not for a day or for a week or for a month or for a year or for a lifetime. That's when they become unhelpful. So, and saboteurs want us to stay in pain. So that image is a pretty powerful one. So in our sharing, with the time that's left here, what did you discover about your Judge Saboteur?
I think the biggest thing I discovered about my judge that I wrote down is it's the voice of discouragement.
That's
me.
Good.
And there's a lot of things that fall under that umbrella, but that's what that voice is for me, discouraging me in some way, whether it's discouraging me in that circumstance, in that event, because of what's happening, or discouraging me to not, that I'm not enough or not worthy or whatever. But it all, the more and more that I thought about it, the more it really falls under that umbrella of discouragement. So it was it, but I've never, up until now, I've not put that word or been able to identify that word. It's like, oh, that's what's happening. That's what you're trying to do, or whatever, so it was very helpful to get to that point. So,
yeah, good job. That is a profound insight. Really is. So, and I have not thought of it that way before, but definitely when my judge is having a heyday with me, I call it getting hijacked by my saboteurs. When my Judge Saboteur hijacks me, I just walk away with my head down, a dog tail between the legs, just sort of like ready to fall over. And that's what it's like. It's very discouraging. How about you, Ashley? I want to get back to, you said something like, I noticed my Judge Saboteur and it was terrifying, I think is how you put it. Talk about that.
I think it's brutal. I think it's one of those things where it holds, and this probably goes with the other saboteur of victim, but it puts me sometimes in that victim mode.
Yes.
Because I took this assessment, and victim was high on there, and I was like, oh my God, but they kind of go hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
I'm holding myself back because I'm letting my Judge Saboteur have its hijacking, with me. And then you look back on the day and it's like, I totally let that control my entire day, and
Yes.
then, everything else falls downward, like your attitude, your camaraderie with your teammates and stuff. It just nasty. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I almost feel it like it's a cold, heavy, wet coat that
yes.
just got put on me, and I'm dragging it around, and it's uncomfortable, and it's just, yeah, it's a tone setter for my life that is a downer, and yeah, difficult. That's what I love though, Ashley, what I like about what you just said is you see it.
Oh yeah.
You see it, you see the impact on you and on the relationships around you. It's like, wow, you are in such a great spot now, seeing that more clearly than you've ever seen it before. Because again, like I said, that's the first step toward bringing positive change. And so I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see what the next few weeks bring for you. There will definitely be ups and downs, mountaintops and valleys. But I think there'll be more mountaintops and fewer valleys. And you're applying yourself very well, Ashley. And I see you getting like you're going to get so much out of this. So I'm proud of you. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the judge is brutal, like you said. My wife has a Judge Saboteur too. And at times when I sense the Judge Saboteur is having its way with her, and she maybe doesn't, she's getting hijacked, but can't see it for herself, I'll point it out and I'll just say, man, your Judge Saboteur is so mean, like just so mean. And that helps her pause and go, oh, and reflect. And for me, I didn't know that before. So it's easier sometimes to see this in other people than we see it in ourselves. But it's like before, I would just get frustrated with my wife that she was being so negative about herself. It's like, come on. And now I understand what's happening to her at a neural pathway, way, and understand, like, as a little girl, at some point she had to develop this way of thinking just to survive or to try to be successful. And it's not serving her well. And I can help her a little bit by pointing out just how brutal her judge is. And that reminds me just how brutal my judge is. And maybe I shouldn't listen to my Judge Saboteur either. So one other thing is a pod. Within the app, there is a way to go into our little pod group and post stuff. I don't know if you're even aware of that or have tried doing anything. And if you have, what's been your experience? What's worked and what do you think could improve? There's just the three of us sitting here right now. And I literally can't post anything into that group. I think I can, if there's something there, I can maybe comment on it, but that's all I can do. So that the way the app is engineered and designed is for me to not be a driver and facilitator, but more just sort of a spectator.
I actually really enjoyed, I posted in the pod, the community, I think probably I posted in.
Yeah.
Just about how optimistic I was. And it is crazy how much support is in that community. It is like, I don't even know some of these people and they're commenting and liking, and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's just there's so much support in there. I absolutely love it. I don't post a whole lot, but the one time I did, it's like, I know if I have an issue or I have a question, like there's people out there, like it's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. James knows.
Well, I totally missed that, Ashley. I'll have to go back and look at the post. I don't know. I've only like popped into that community feed like a few times, really, like, to look, and it's been super brief. So I haven't, like really invested in it, but I wonder if maybe I'm also not, I don't know if I'm following everybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would see or how I would even know if someone did post. So maybe that's part of the problem, but but these pod sessions are great, but I haven't necessarily been utilizing the in-app community feature.
I'm gonna see if my app, here it is. So I'm going to I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Oh no. Oh, I just found participants, and no, I'm not following anyone. Okay, great. Here we go. Following. I followed you all, Ashley and everyone else. Okay, great.
I don't think I was following anyone either, though.
So
I didn't know I had to follow, but anyways, now that's how
I'm learning along here too. So you went to my pod.
Yeah.
So this is the pod I was in way back 11 months ago. When I was where you are right now. And so that was my pod, and that always stays my pod. It'll always be my pod. And the guys I went through it with, you get access to the app for 52 weeks, whether after these 8 weeks, if you, there's opportunities after this to get more if you want it. And I'll explain that more later. But no matter what you get now and access to the community and what you get in these 8 weeks will be yours no matter what. And the gym will stay there where you can do, the tense workouts or the, moving with eyes open workouts that are harder, Ashley. Those will stay for a whole 52 weeks, even if you don't do anything more with like me or with mental fitness after the first 8 weeks. So just FYI there. And then, so that's my pod. But, oh, that's right. For me as a coach, I have a special coach portal that I have to go into to see what y'all are saying or doing in your pod. I organize your pod, but I'm not actually in your pod, I guess. Anyway, we'll experiment and learn as we go. Like I've got things to learn here too.
Hold on, I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna send a picture message to the pod of this right now. Here we go.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, wait. Oh, that was bad. Hold on, I gotta retake it. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's better.
Love it.
All right.
Love it.
Great. Cool.
Good. So that's something you can check out some more. And yeah, Ashley, it is a vibrant community. I mean, people from around the world are on there. You'll notice.
Isn't that great, Ashley?
Ashley loves the picture.
Sorry.
Maybe she loves the picture. We'll see. She takes it down.
It's much better than the first one I took too. I was like, I don't know.
Well, Ashley, I got to tell you, James knows how to be active in a community and be on the support end of it. He's actually fantastic at it. I'm a part of a community, a coaching community that he is has been the main support person for several months now. And he does an incredible job.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think, well, and that's why I'm so glad we talked about this today, because that's a piece of this I've been curious about. And I know I totally if anybody were to post in the pod, I would respond to it. But I also haven't initiated it up until now with that photo.
You're getting things going, man. And hopefully, Amy, Randy, as you're watching this, check it out if you haven't yet. It's a good thing. So, all right. Well, our time comes and goes just like that. It's going to be a short, you're in practice now, and the whole judge say, oh, real quick, what did you think of Shirzad's acting out as Judge Saboteur? That freaked me out when I watched it. What was your experience?
When he told me that this might be traumatic, I was like, it's not going to be that bad. And then as I watched it, I was like, but I could, not to this extreme like he did, but I could totally see myself flying off the handle, talking to my boss, or I don't understand how they don't get it. I totally could relate to what he was saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything to add, James?
Same. I mean, I could definitely relate to it. So I appreciate that he went to that level of intensity.
Yes.
Because I think that's a reality sometimes. And I it would probably take me a while personally before I would even be willing to admit that is a level that it could go to and has gone to at times. But I appreciate him modeling that vulnerability and going first in that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He and what he says, because I've seen him talk about this several times, is that is a true representation of what it feels like when he gets hijacked by his Judge Saboteur. Internally, he's basically revealing his internal world in that and demonstrating it for us, and really just for himself, I think, to remind him of just how brutal his Judge Saboteur is. And there's a story of great personal pain and suffering underneath that from his own childhood and even adulthood. Yeah. His biological parents basically blamed him for some bad business stuff that happened. I think his dad lost his.
Did he say that in the book or something like that?
Yeah. And so they refused to even say his name after that. So that's where his Judge Saboteur was formed, and it was and still is a pretty painful saboteur. Mm-hmm. So yeah, on that happy note. Oh, good grief. Okay, gotta save this. All right. The cool thing is you do not have to live hijacked by your Judge Saboteur every minute of every day. And you are now further along than probably 99.5% of the human population of the 8 billion people who live on our planet. You are better equipped right now than 7.99999 billion people are to not live a Judge Saboteur hijacked life. And so we're just getting started. Thank you for being here today, and I will be sending out an email Friday morning. You'll be getting the next videos to watch over the weekend, Saturday, and we'll pick it up Monday next week, regular time, regular place for our pod. So have a good week. We'll see you around.
Thank you,
right.
Glenn. Bye,
See
James.
y'all. Bye. See you.
Bye.